Creech, you look good. Look good.
Is this the show then? This is what we're doing?
Yes.
Good as it gets, Zach. I'm sorry, but did you want something else? Did you?
All right, let's do this. Start the promo. Let's get into it. Let's do some magic. Let's impress the peoples.
Let's impress them. I'm building a little stand here. The reason why I'm on my phone is because just in case that sprinkler guy needs to chat with me, I can get back.
You should introduce us.
You can bring him on.
Well, I thought he'd be our second guest, and we'll decide on who's funnier and better. All right, so what are we talking about? What are we doing? Hey, there's one thing we all have in common. We're all going to be at the camp this weekend because
that's pretty cool.
Running the media. Zach, you're going to be what are you doing there? Selling something? What are you doing?
I'm signing autographs, saving the world one person at a time. Creech and I were talking prior to you got on. Actually, I have been in Peachtree, Georgia before when I shot an episode of Drop Dead Diva. No?
Is that a reality show?
No, Drop Dead Diva was a TV show where a beautiful woman got hit by a car, and then her soul, a beautiful, very unlikable woman got hit by a car, and she was a lawyer of some kind, and then her soul got transferred into the body of this really big fat girl. And this is prior to body shaming not being allowed. So the whole concept is that this larger lady has the spirit of this brilliant lawyer in her body, and she is now doing good things for people in order to earn her way onto heaven, I think. So like a crime serial legal series. And I played some wrongly accused guy who was on the third strike, going to go away to jail, and his wife and kid were like, "Please don't let Daddy go." Long and short of it, I have been in Peachtree, Georgia before.
Were you actually ever really arrested in Peachtree, Georgia?
No. I'm sure that you have been though. I'm guessing.
I'm just saying. You were on your third strike, so your character was a two-time loser. You were technically, you weren't like innocently, sentenced 3 times. You actually admit that you did something bad twice, right? As a character.
I don't remember what was written, nor did I care. No, the brilliance of that series. I was very grateful for having a paying job, as is every actor. At the same point as Dave, as you will attest, the second it's done, I'm like, great. Next time, please. That's basically it.
And one question about that TV show, not that I'm ever going to watch it, but you're saying that the hot white woman, right?
I don't remember what color she was, but okay.
But her personality goes into a large black female.
No, the lead actress was a white lady.
Okay.
Asian woman.
Asian.
Caucasian, white.
Caucasian.
And she was just a larger person.
Yeah. So, because my only question is, are the person that the woman jumps into, is that person, are there 2 personalities talking to each other, or?
Dude, I don't remember. Because I remember, Steve Martin did that movie, The Two of Us, or whatever.
Yeah, 2 Brains, The Man with 2 Brains?
No, not The Man with 2 Brains. It was...
The one with Lily Tomlin. It was with Lily Tomlin.
Yeah, the one with Lily Tomlin, which was hilarious. So I can't remember if it was like that or if it was something else. I don't even know if I ever watched the episode, to be honest with you.
Only reason I asked for some details is because I find it funny that she ends up in a body of an obese lady, and she has to make amends and make the world better. But then I'm just wondering, what happened to the obese lady? Like, is she,
Right? I don't know. Was she dead and she came back to life, or
she went right to heaven? You know what I mean?
Or was it like the whole thing with Wonder Woman 1984, which I did not watch, but the whole conflict being that Steve Rogers' spirit takes over this random dude who then ends up having sex with Wonder Woman, but did this guy, and then at the end of the movie, Steve Rogers' spirit apparently just evaporates out of random dude, and he's left there going, what happened? And who knows if he's got a wife and family? Like, what happened to his responsibilities? How pissed off would your wife be? Like, I saw you having sex with Wonder Woman. Honey, everybody saw you, and we're getting a divorce. I don't remember anything. Like,
right.
Yeah, very not kind of Wonder Woman.
I'm going to use that, though. I'm going to make sure my wife watches Wonder Woman 1984. So if anything ever happens, I'm going to be like, it was Steve Rogers. He took me over, man. Listen, hon, we saved the world. We saved the world. Forget about her. Forget about her.
What about the sex, buddy? I'm a hero.
My body
I'm a hero.
Save the world. Go ahead. What?
Yeah, it's not about the sex, baby. I'm a hero.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you got to look at the better side of every story. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
So this will be my first time at the convention. Your first time at the convention. Creech, tell us a little bit about the convention really quick. It's called the Camp.
It's hosted by Oscar Rodriguez, who a lot of people know as Oscar's Red Hat. Basically, it's not only a lot of the money they make goes straight to charity, but it's down near where they film The Walking Dead, so there'll be a lot of Walking Dead fans. Obviously, a lot of Walking Dead actors. But this is actually the first one where they're kind of moving away from just The Walking Dead. They're broadening their horizons. And they're bringing in, Zack and you and Tyler Main and a lot of people that basically maybe don't get to go down to Georgia other than when they're working. So like,
there's no other reason. Is there another reason to go to Georgia?
I've never. Besides working, I've never been, but I've got a friend of mine, Ethan Smith, who I introduced you to, Dave, and then also Yano Anaya, who played Grover Dill in The Christmas Story. He lives in Atlanta now. So apparently it's a great place to live. I just don't have any experience.
Yeah, it's slowly becoming the Hollywood of the South, so I hear.
How far away is this location from actually landing at the airport, Creech? I'm OCD. I need to know like what I'm getting into.
That I don't know. I think it's about 20-30 minutes outside of Atlanta.
Okay, got it. It's good to know. We need to know that for when we get the hell out of town. We're as signers, we got to get back to Los Angeles in our homes. We want to get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? So we're like, okay, what time do we have to leave? But and you're going to be doing media down there. Zack, you've never met Creech before, right?
No,
I don't think so. No.
Can't wait. It'll be interesting for you to see him in person. He's very imposing. He's a very imposing person.
That's a nice way to say fat.
Yeah, it is. That's it. That's what.
He could be the next Drop Dead Diva. That would be great.
He is.
All right, exactly.
100% is.
Actually, Dave Sheridan dies, and his spirit goes into Creech, and that would be Kismet.
Wait, are you saying that I'm thin? Are you saying I'm?
No, I think he's saying you're a diva. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Oh man. So yeah, and Zack, speaking of conventions, have you been out to a lot of conventions over the last year? Because I mean, there's been COVID, and a lot of them have been shut down, and then you've been very busy, on the acting side a little bit, and also, we're going to get into the film that you directed me in, and you've been posting that and doing a lot of work. Do you guys have also two things in common? You both work at night, because Zack has been editing his film on like graveyard shift hours because of other stuff he's doing during the day, and then Creech, you work a graveyard shift, right?
Yeah,
graveyard. So very similar people.
It's definitely a unique set of people who work at night.
So Zack, is this your first convention since COVID was unleashed onto the world?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is.
And was that by choice, or you were just too busy and didn't need to go and humble yourself for money like I have to do? And
no, it was a little bit of both, and it was also like there were a couple of opportunities that I was going to go to. And then at the last moment, they were falling apart because of COVID, because of people's concerns and the pre-sales, people were too scared to go into a big group, which I totally understand. So I almost went to one in Florida, and then it literally canceled that, like, the week before, and I was like, okay, that's fine. But otherwise, I was pretty much busy. And so last year had a lot to do with my father. Got Alzheimer's, and I was taking care of him. And so I had to be very regulated on my exposure because he's 74 years old, and I had to be looking after him. So I wasn't really willing to go to conventions that would not take the protocols seriously. And I'm not a stickler, but it's like, in the old days, Dave, you'd be shaking hands with people. They come up and they hug you, and you take a photo with them. And everybody knows that even prior to COVID, like, you go to a convention and you get convention crud, meaning somebody somewhere is going to get sick. If it's not in the summer, if it's any time in the fall or winter, if there's going to be a flu or a cold going around, and you kind of go, okay, that's it. It is what it is, but it couldn't kill you. So, though the way it was before is really not something that I'm interested in doing now. I do selfies with people, and what I do with them, because Christmas story stuff, is I'll have them stand like 6-7 feet in front of me. They take a picture of themselves, and I come up behind them 6-7 feet away and like, rawr, and do something funny and cute, so we're in the same photo, but we're not touching or breathing on each other. And regardless of your opinion of the whole COVID experience, I know that I have not had a cold or a flu in over a year. Right. And obviously the washing the hands, being careful makes a difference. And Dave, you'll understand this, and Creech probably will too, is that, we live in an economy where you only eat what you kill. You're an apex predator. No one's handing you money for, not working. So when you're sick, you're losing time. And whether it's just a flu or a cold, you're down and you're not getting what you want to get done. And so I think those protocols are something that I'm kind of going to maintain just because they make sense, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Plus being men, we're complete pussies. They're called man colds. I cannot take any cold, especially I definitely ham it up a lot more than the female counterparts muster through, and you don't even know they're feeling sick, because then they're able to take it a little bit better. They have that pain tolerance is higher because they have to shove little babies through areas in their life. So, but I do agree with you. I went to go get the flu shot in the fall. And I went to the CVS and I asked the guy, I go, how's the shot this year? I'm like, because some years it's not effective, some years it's effective. Right. And he said, well, I don't know about the shot, and he said, by this time I would have dispersed 800 Tamiflus just out of that CVS. And he said, I haven't had to do a script for 0. So there was literally they knocked the flu down to almost 0 this year. And he actually attributed it to the protocols of washing your hands, wearing masks. It really did cut down on that. And so that's kind of proof in the pudding that it was effective for anything. The other thing that became apparent, because this is not, and this is one thing, I don't like talking about the COVID on podcasts. I don't, because I know there's political lines on things and stuff like that. But this is one thing that no one really talks about in terms of this was basic science. This was a fact that I never knew. This is a fact, I guess, on all viruses, including the flu, including any other common colds, like the coronavirus is a common cold. The bottom line is that, remember how they said, oh, you could be having the coronavirus, but not know it, not be showing symptoms. Well, that's not unique to that virus. Otherwise, they go, this is the weirdest thing in the world. We've never heard of a virus that you don't show symptoms. You didn't hear that in the news. They just made that that's the case, which means that's the case for everything. That's the case for the flu. That's the case for any other hand, foot, and mouth disease or whatever it is, any pathological virus, there are people that don't show symptoms that can spread it. And so I never knew that. I never knew that, like during flu season, the same goes during flu season. You could get the flu, not know that you're getting the flu, but you're spreading it. And so with that said, I'm just saying that does change my outlook on how, as a social Petri, we are all individuals, but we're all in one giant yellow submarine.
Have you ever been in Japan?
I have not, but I've heard I'm big there. I heard I'm big in Japan because I'm 5'11".
So I
Creech is huge. Creech is huge. Creech can't go to Japan because they yell Godzilla. Godzilla. I don't know.
I lived in Japan when I was like 19 years old, and I was there for about 6 months. And this is 32 years ago. So
you expect me to do math now? What the hell? What are you doing? This is not math.
My point being is 32 years ago, like I'm in Japan, and they're an island. They have a lot of people. Those videos you've seen of people being pushed onto subway trains to fit on, that's a real thing, and it's been going on for decades. And you would always see people wearing masks, and they would wear masks when they had a cold. And they would, when they were on the subways, they would wear little cotton gloves. They were very aware of the population density, how close they lived to each other. That's one of the reasons why there's such a rigid culture of politeness in Japan, was because they were so packed close to each other, and they use shoji screens, like their paper screens, as walls. So you're not allowed people because there's not enough space, and you're going to annoy somebody. So you're very considerate of that. And also, if your neighbor gets a cold or starts to feel in any way slightly sick, they put on a mask to protect their neighbor. It's considered public, proper decorum not to be walking around sneezing. Because here in the States, I've seen people sneeze at you and keep on talking, and you're like, dude, you didn't even cover your mouth. Or you know this happened, Dave. I know you've had this happen. You're doing a convention, someone's like, man, it's really nice to meet you. And you go, no, dude, I'm not doing that. And it's not because they're horrible people. It's just not ingrained in the culture to connect one thing to the other. And I think, like, we used to make fun, as a culture, the Japanese people wearing their masks in the airport was a bunch of weirdos. And now you see, no, it just made sense. They just went through this prior, especially all the countries that were close to a country like China, where they don't have the infrastructure for taking care of people medically like we do. And so they were exposed to this nonstop. So it just became part of their standard operating procedure.
Right.
I don't think we're ever going to go back to a world where wipe your nose, go to shake somebody's hand is socially acceptable. And honestly, nor should it be. Right? Like,
that's the other thing, because I know people want to get the masks off. I know they want to get the masks off. And I personally, I don't mind the masks. And I'm not I've been out to conventions since April of last year. I haven't stopped. I've probably killed 10,000 people. I am a super spreader multiple times. It's the most because look, here's the thing. I finally became popular in terms of, at least I'm doing something that people are reacting to, which is, I know they're dying, but they're reacting to me, and it's great. I love it. I'm an attention seeker. No, but with that said, I do like the masks for many reasons. One is, like you said, you didn't get a cold, you didn't get other things. The other thing is, you could talk behind people's backs now. You could say all sorts of rude stuff, and they don't know. I mean, I just became Larry David times 5. You know what I mean? The things I said to people, and they would go, "What? Excuse me?" And I go, "I didn't say anything." Because it was like I could become a ventriloquist and throw the voices. The other thing is, you can fart at will, because again, you fart, they look around. But here's the thing: that whole whoever smelt it dealt it. No one can smell farts. I mean, if you smell a fart in a mask, that is a deadly fucking fart. That's like a McDonald's drinking all night. You went to White Castle farts or something like that. And so that's good too. I would hope people wear masks, because I hate holding in my farts. You know what I mean? You're like,
Oh no, I do. I've worked with you. Remember, I
Yes.
have lots of experience of your odors. So yeah, I breathed you in many times.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm proud of that, though. I am very proud of that. But
Are you?
ultimately, can I say one more thing about that? I do think that protocols of people that work in the service business, like if I was somebody checking somebody out at a grocery store or a Walmart or a Costco, and I had to see 200 people a day, behind the cash register, I would wear a mask now because I'd be like, this is great.
Yeah.
It's at your job. It's not a big deal. If
Right.
you're already used to it now, but that's going to basically keep you healthy, the person behind the thing, and it's also going to keep the other people. And if you're a food server, or people that making food at restaurants, man, they already have to wear their hairnets. Wearing a mask now, like just do it because now that's going to help many things. You know?
I'm vaccinated, but I know they said that people who are vaccinated don't have to wear masks.
Wait, I heard that if you're unvaccinated, sexual pleasure is better though, or is that uncircumcised?
I don't know. But
you don't know. You don't know. You're circumcised. You're circumcised. I caught you. That was a true question.
But the point being, apparently because I'm vaccinated, I don't have to wear a mask. But then how do other people know that? And so, like today, I go to the bank in the morning and I put a mask on before I walk in. Technically, I don't have to wear one. But the conversation I'm starting with people is not if I'm not wearing a mask in a public area where other people are wearing a mask. Now, why do I want to do that to them? Why do I want to come off on that? Why do I want to start that relationship with him going, what's that guy doing? Is he one of those crazy guys? Is he just doesn't give a shit? Is he going to have a MAGA hat, or is he going to be aggressive, or is he going to start a conversation? Is he a male Karen? I'm like, I don't need that. I just wanted to go in, do my job, and leave. So the 2 seconds I put that on doesn't faze me in any way, shape, or form. And if it makes someone else more comfortable, awesome. When I'm in private, like Dave, if you and I are hanging out when we're in Georgia, I'm not going to wear a mask.
That's not going to happen. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Don't even look at me. Don't even look at me. That's why we're talking now. We're saying it all right now. Don't even. There's no reason to say hi to me now, dude. I'm talking to you for an hour. We're good. All right.
Yeah. So
and that is exactly what a male Karen would say. That is exactly what a male Karen would say. Go ahead.
You're funny. I miss you, man. I miss you.
I can't wait to see you. I was excited to come on this when I saw that you were going to be doing this because, for people that don't know, Zack directed me in a movie, and it's going to be a phenomenal movie. And I know we can't say too much about it. We're certainly not going to show you anything. I'm going to get to see pieces of it soon. Zack's been seeing it every day for a long time. And the best compliment you gave me was that you're still able to watch me. You know what I mean? Because I know how that is. I know how editing is and going.
Still funny. Still fun. That thing is still funny.
Yeah.
Still funny. Still funny.
I can't wait to see the film. What can you say about the movie? Why don't you tell a little bit?
All right, so the movie's right now, it's called Patsy Lee and the Keepers of the Five Kingdoms. I say right now because once we have a distributor attached, it could change. But it stars James Hong and if you want to throw up a picture of James Hong, or I'll find one, you may recognize him
right here on me, Creech. Oh, I'm James Hong.
Yeah, you can't do that.
What? No picture, you mean, or no voice like that?
Yeah, no voice like that. You can't.
But I'm a comedian. I imitated him perfectly. What are you talking about? That's how he talks.
I imitate him perfectly because I talk to him nonstop. But this is James Hong. Let me see if I can do this right.
That's how he showed up on set. Yeah, that was him before costume.
In Big Trouble in Little China, right? So he was also in a Blade Runner. He's got like 650 credits, the most credited actor in Hollywood history.
He was in another China movie called Chinatown.
And he's 92 years old now. 92, and an irascible, lovable guy. So the movie is basically like kids in a small town run into these henchmen, which are played by Dave Sheridan and Dante Basco. And these henchmen are they're from a mythical land, a Chinese mystical land, where they're part of the Chinese zodiac, a rat and a chicken. Dave plays chicken, and
I thought
yeah,
it was
shut up. And
no.
Dante,
Oh my gosh! No wonder I still did a good job. But now, if you watch it, I was actually imitating Fat, and I really, given my bad acting away.
This is what I had to deal with. So trying to explain the movie. So the henchmen are Hank and Frank. Dave plays Hank, and he is he's an embodiment of the rat character from the Zodiac, and he's got this. He's from the chicken Zodiac, and he's got this big nose and a large Adam's apple and a shaved head with a mohawk down here, and he does this. It's just amazing. And then Dante Basco plays a rat, and they bump into our heroes, and they drop this box that has this magical MacGuffin inside of it. Yep. And then James Hong and the kids fight the bad guys and end up falling into this magical world that they have to find their way back. So a little bit of Wizard of Oz, a little bit of Dark Crystal,
a little Goonies, and a little Scooby-Doo. A little Scooby-Doo.
Goonies, also a little Tarantino. I mean, the fact is, the cool thing, I love kids' movies, having been in Christmas Story. What I loved about Christmas Story is, yes, it was a kids' movie, but it didn't dumb it down. It didn't make it saccharine sweet. It made it very visceral and real. And like Dante and Dave, their characters, you're introduced to them when they're driving a 1972 Cadillac Eldorado, and they're coming up in this Mexican street scene where there's a huge party going on for the Dia de la Muerte, the Day of the Dead. And these guys are dressed like Reservoir Dogs. Like, they have black suits, white shirts, black ties, and they take themselves very, very seriously, which also lends into why they're so funny. And it's like, I got to make this movie, and when you see it, Dave and Creech, when you see it, it is one of those things that you go, huh, oh, okay, oh, okay, what? I mean, all right, because it doesn't land inside the expected tropes for the genre. It really takes from a whole bunch of references and makes something brand new. And that was due to, it was a low budget film. You had to come up with options, and also the creative freedom to go, well, this is what I like. This is what I think would be cool. Let's do this. And I don't have anybody stepping on my neck about it. So I got to really do some neat stuff, and it's working amazingly. It's a really, really cool, fun film. I'm excited for everyone to see it. And when you see Dave's performance in it, true story. So there's a scene in The Green-Eyed Goddess, which is like this curio shop that James Hong owns. And our villains, Dave and Dante, the rat, Hank and Frank, end up going there in the middle of the night to find a thing. And this little girl, this 14-year-old girl, is behind the counter. She's fallen asleep at the counter, and they come walking in. She knows who they are, so she goes to hide. And she hides in the clothes, like Scooby-Doo. And she's got a mask on, so all you see are her eyes, right? Well, the girl was not available. She was not in the city at that time. And so I needed eyes that could match hers. And my wife was available, and she's got big, beautiful eyes. So we do the whole scene of my wife as being a champion, hiding in a rack of clothes with a mask over her head, doing the wobbly eyes back and forth. And she's watching Dave for hours with the nose and the glasses on and and she's talking about how funny he is, and we're eating lunch. And Dave is now out of makeup, sitting about 10 feet away, just sitting by himself, going over his phone, eating stuff. And I look at him, I'm like, hey man, great stuff today. He's like, it was fun. And my wife looks at me and goes, so who's that? I'm like, that's Hank. She's like, Hank who? I'm like, Hank, you know, the big chicken man. She's like, no, it isn't. I'm like, yes, it is. She's like, that guy? I'm like, yeah, that guy. She goes, I would never, oh my God. It was a complete physical change. Yeah. And like, I just, I'm a character actor. Dave's a character actor. And I think and Dave, you probably heard this before, like you work with other actors who are, not to belittle ourselves, much prettier and just kind of known for like playing themselves, but in different situations. And like when I did Transformers, Josh Duhamel, very sweet guy, very nice guy, and I'm doing the Boston accent. And back then, these glasses were just props as opposed to me going blind. And so I'm doing the Boston accent, doing the character. He's like, God, you're unrecognizable. I'm like, well, that's kind of the job. He goes,
Yeah.
but aren't you afraid that people won't know it's you? I said, I never really think about that. I want the film to be what it's going to be, and I want to be the perfect cog in that machine. And that's the job. And Dave does that. I mean, you guys, I'm sure anybody watching this has seen not Scary Story. What's it called? The one where you played
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I actually told Dave this. I auditioned for the same role. And
wow.
and I went to finals on it. And I'm so glad I didn't get it because, like, I'm man enough to admit that the level of performance that he did as Officer Doofy, and then the change up at the end where he takes off the stuff and he's just ridiculously good looking and gets in the car and drives away. Like, it was fantastic.
20 years ago.
I mean, come on. It's so good. And he's one of those rare actors that can do comedy and drama and be silly and be 100% serious and like in a snap of a finger. It's just, working with Dave is just such a huge pleasure. Of course, I have to tell him to shut up on occasion, but that's just part of the process. And I don't get upset, neither does he. But working with him, he's always like, whatever's on the script is good. And then when he brings it, even when he's just saying those lines, it gets so much better. And then he adds on top of that, and you just get this incredible verbal and physical and characterization that I think most people would be scared to commit to, and he does it so effortlessly. And I'm not saying that to blow smoke up your ass because I know you're broke. I can't get any money out of you. So it's like it's just such a pleasure. It's an amazing experience.
And I trust me, I understand. I'm living in it, at least in terms of people not recognizing me from films, because so many movies I'm not looking like myself. In fact, It's gotten to the point where I'm in this film, Victor Crowley, and I do a lot of conventions with Felicity Rose, as you say, or it's Felissa, and she's also in the film. And they'll bring the Victor Crowley head, or they'll bring the VHS tape to her table, and oh, you were great in it. And she'll go, oh, Dave was really good in it too. And they'll go, oh, he was in the film. What did he play? And if you know the film, I'm the main guy. I kill the bad guy. It's like, if you don't know, that's like, and then she says, oh, he was Dylan. They're like, what? Like, now when I'm not even like too much of I'm not in disguise in any way, but the character is, I guess, a little on me. I don't know why they wouldn't know it's not me, but movies like Ghost World and stuff like that but this one is really because there's prosthetics, there's the character. The good thing is, and I think I haven't worked with too many directors that also come from an acting background. And that's the benefit of working with you is you understand, you're coming from an actor's perspective of trusting and giving the actors the room to, play a little bit. Yeah. Is going to be what shows on that screen,
Oh, so, it really does. It really does. I mean, you remember when, so going through the process of building your character, getting the nose on and the Adam's apple and the haircut, and then I asked you for the glasses, and then you glasses, and that kind of just melded it all into one character. And then with Basco, he had a facial prosthetic and a hat, and it worked okay. And then I got him a fat suit. I got him a fat belly. And honestly, the guy's in great shape. He's a handsome dude, but that's not what I wanted. And then I pitched him the fat suit. He's like, I don't want to be a fat guy. I work out. I'm like, I know, but let's try this for me. And it was so funny because he puts on the fat suit. It's just like something you put your arms into and you wear a new shirt. And it gives you, like, it gives you like an extra 10 pounds of dad bod right across the front belly. And
Yeah.
right away, he starts just massaging it like a pregnant woman. And it
Right.
becomes a character point that just works throughout the whole thing. And then those two's dynamic was just awesome. Just awesome.
Listen, when we do press, I'll go with that story that he's wearing a fat suit too. If that's what he wanted to do. Cool with that. I don't remember him ever having I never saw a suit or something on him, but maybe I wasn't. Yeah, Dante's in good shape. Yeah, that's not a fat suit. Yeah.
He's ripped and shredded though.
So, but look, this film that you're doing is high. It's got a lot of post production. I hate to because there's variations of how you do it, but it's a lot of bells and whistles after you shoot. It takes a long time to get done, but you're near the finish line on it, right? We're going to get to see this.
We're about a month and a half away.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. Because this one is, I would say it's, when you were talking about the different films, it's kind of like if Robert Zemeckis and Robert Rodriguez or Tarantino kind of made they jumped into Drop Dead Rodriguez Diva. I don't know, like if it's like Tarantino got into Zemeckis's body and then they made a movie, that would be interesting. So
Robert Rodriguez and Richard Donner. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's got that studio feel. It's got that backlot Universal feel, and we'll leave it at that. But we know where we shot it, and I don't want to say where we shot it because, quite frankly, I want to keep that a secret because you and I got to go back there and make 10 more movies before it goes back.
Yeah. And what I want to do is like when the film is done, and I gotta finish print. I want to go back out to that small town that we shot in, and I want to do a premiere just for them because they helped us out so much.
They did.
Do a charity fundraiser for them. That town was just the most delightful, sweet, kind people. We could never have made that film without them. And they're like the locations that we got you didn't have a lot of time there, but at that high school, what was the high school in the film looks amazing. It looks epic, like the school's out of Back to the Future. And if we tried to use the Back to the Future lot, like literally I checked on it, it was $12,000 a day for the location rental, but that did not include insurance. That did not include, you had to use all union electricians and their caterer. So before you pulled the trigger on the camera, you would have spent like $25,000 and you would have had literally 10 hours. And we ended up spending for that school, it was $450 plus a giant roll, like a 40 pack of toilet paper. There's no way you could do that in Los Angeles.
Right.
And it looks incredible.
40 pack of toilet paper, $10,000. I'll give it to you.
The thing that we were able to accomplish when we do the chase scene of you guys going through the streets of the town, and I called the local police chief, and I had met him in person, and I'm like, hey, so we want to shoot a chase scene through downtown. What do I need to do? And I'm expecting permits. You have to hire these not out of work, but off-duty police officers to cordon off the area. You got to put up traffic stops all around the area. And I'm expecting, like, it's a process, man. It's going to cost money and time. And the guy goes, you're shooting downtown? I'm like, yes, I'd like to. He goes, all right, well, I'll leave some cones out for you. What? Yeah, just outside the police station. I'll leave some cones out for you. And, just throw some PAs around, make sure no one gets hit. Oh, okay. That was it. There was no police. It was nothing. And we respected the hell out of that and just made sure everybody was safe. But that would have cost me $10,000 before I started shooting. And instead it just goes on the screen, which is amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I remember the car breaking down too. And I think
Yeah, because the gas gauge didn't work. And
yeah.
You remember, I bought that car to use it in the film. I
Now,
bought that car
driving it forever, and we was like, this is like that miracle car, because we were in a fictional world. So in our minds, it's like the car runs. It runs like us. We're all fake, and it's like, no, the car is real. Did anyone ever see that?
Yeah.
Go up? No.
Yeah. Yeah. I bought that car for like
remember,
$4,000, and we're just selling it now. We're just selling that car now to get rid of it.
You know, we signed it right on the inside of
the trunk. Yeah.
So
yeah, we auction.
Who's selling it?
Jamie. You remember Jamie?
Yeah. Well, where would they go? Where would anyone go to? What is it? It's a 71 something. What
72 Caddy Coupe de Ville.
Yeah.
All original. Yeah. Monster.
Yeah. And we all signed it. So it's inside the hood is signed, and it's on screen.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a famous car. So where would someone go to find that?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I guess reach out to Creech, and if anybody's really seriously interested, I'll send them a link.
I'll text Jamie and I'll find out, and then Creech, we'll just put that in a link
in the description. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because
go for more money once the movie comes out and people dig it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember the neighbor came out and fixed. You know, like that's the kind of film this was in that town. We were broken down, and the neighbor said, "Oh, I got gas," and he came and we got it going. You know what I mean? So
we had like 80 extras in the scene where you and Dante pull up in the '69 Fiat 500.
Yeah,
and then we had like 80 extras from the town show up for free. And then they gave us 2 school buses for free. And then at night we were having there's a homecoming dance scene, and all the same kids and young adults showed up again in prom outfits for free. And we just fed everybody. And then James Hong he set up a booth where he could sign autographs and do his impersonations. What's this one? Oh, you dirty rat. James Cagney. So
right.
There's James Hong impersonating James Cagney in front of a bunch of millennials who don't know who any of those people are. And they're just excited to meet the guy from Kung Fu Panda.
Right.
So that was how we acquired our background talent on the project, was just through love and hugs and good efforts, and it was amazing. It's incredible.
James Cagney. Yeah, your reference world becomes a little outdated.
Yeah.
It's like that. The Richard, what's his name? Is his name Richard Little? No, who's the guy that does all the impersonations? But he was in the 70s.
Rich Little, yeah.
And he would do, he'd do Nixon. You know what I mean? He would do like Truman or somebody like that. It's like, people are like, I have no idea what he's doing. Who's Nixon you speak about? So, yeah. And then recently you played a role just recently. I think it was in February. Into February, you were in Puerto Rico. I saw a photo posted, and you talk about being unrecognizable as a character. And this one was really funny because you were kind of creepy looking. You were like a boy. You were kind of like a boy band meets a hitman or what?
Yeah.
That was your real hair, right? You
yeah, that was my real hair, but it was long and it was dyed blonde. I'm trying to find a photo because it was pretty cool.
It was blondish white, and
yeah, exactly.
And what you were telling me while you looked for that was you're down in Puerto Rico. You are a ginger, your skin. So you're basically like, listen, I've got the blonde hair. If I step outside in the sun, I'm red. So you're gonna have a blonde hair guy that's like a member of the anti-Smurfs or something. You're gonna be like Bizarre Smurf. So basically, you had to stay inside, and you were working on your stuff inside. But it rained a little bit too while you were there. So but it's a great character. You know, you got the tattoos and stuff like that, and
Yeah, it was fun. You know this, Dave. It's always fun to play a batshit crazy mofo.
yeah, yeah. So, what's next on the horizon for you? What are some things that you're looking at?
I've got another movie I can't talk about yet, but that could be really cool. Um,
Don't say something you can't talk about on this podcast. That's what Chris does. That's why he keeps quiet. Look at that.
Oh wow.
He looks like he's enjoying it too much too. He's one of these crazy giggling, laughing.
yeah.
He's like the Joker. Got a little bit of a psycho-ness to him.
When do I not?
That's true. Well, that's also what made you an amazing director on this. I really, listen, there's definitely other people I've worked with that could have made that Patsy Lee film, but it takes a special type of person to be able to take on something so giant for the budget that you shot it for the amount of time you had to shoot it for.
Yeah.
That is a positive thinking person that had to make sure you hold the positivity on set with everyone else. You know what I'm saying? And so,
that shit's hard, dude.
Yeah, it is. Not a lot of people do that, so
that's the thing that you can't unload on the actors all the crap that's going on behind the scenes and all the problems. So even like I guess we shouldn't talk about the budget, but when it comes to movies in this tier level, this style, they're usually done like $15 to $20 million and above, and you're under $1 million. Like and I know this sounds like a lot too. We're under like $500,000 for the entire film. So I called in every favor I could. And I know people like, under $500,000, that's still a lot of money. I'm like, well, Star Wars, The Force Awakens was a $300 million movie. They spent our budget in about 5 seconds. It literally came down to $50,000 a second on Star Wars. And so one of the jobs is like you're trying to solve problems without being able to throw cash at it. And it goes wrong all the time. But if you unravel in front of your talent, then you just confuse them as to their focus. And you need Dave Sheridan to do Dave Sheridan. You need Dante Basco to do Dante Basco. You need James Hong to focus on James Hong. You need all those people to just fall in love with that moment and get rid of everything else. So you just got to eat that dick on your own and turn around and go, hey, it's a great day. Let's have fun, guys. And it doesn't matter what the fuck is going wrong when you interact with him. It's about that moment. And it doesn't matter if you just lost your toe. You have to go back to, all right, so in this fun moment, you do this. Otherwise, you waste what gets on the camera. And that's not your job. Your job as a director, it's really not about me. It's about making sure that it's about the vision that works for the film so that everybody else can succeed in their job.
Right.
And yeah, it'll give you a tumor. It'll definitely make an ulcer form in your stomach. So,
yeah. And if that did happen, then that's your next film. Your little sidekick tumor named whatever you want to name it. You know what I mean?
Mr. Tumor, face.
Exactly. I would say this. I know people are watching this that know some of the films that I've done lately, and they know I've done a lot of turds. They know when you're in the low budget indie horror world and you're taking a job to pay the rent and feed your family. And I've discussed this on the podcast, and I actually had a discussion with you the other night about when you first called me about ADRs. I just try to do my best and just focus on my job, which is acting and bringing the character I got to bring, whatever that is. Some of the films are, they have a little bit of a stink on them. They're not the best films. Maybe they're even terrible. But it makes it worth it to stay in the game because for every 10 crappy films I make, I get to make a Patsy Lee. So, and then hopefully that ratio starts to bend the other way if you stick at it long enough. And I only say that for anybody in any job that you're doing. at the end of the day, the longer you stick at something, like if somebody wants to start a YouTube channel and put, start their little show, they're not going to start out with 12 million followers. You're going to start out with very little. It's a consistency, it's product, and it's just sticking with it and doing your best. And that's the same thing with indie filmmaking. I actually enjoy it a lot. I do. I like it more than the studio movies. The pay's better with the studios, but the freedom to do, that's one of the reasons I feel like all my performances in these indie movies are actually better than some of the major motion pictures I've done, because when I was on those, there's so much pressure, and there's pressure on the directors, there's pressures on the producers, and you feel it because you're feeling what they're feeling, and you're kind of pushed in a little bit to make sure you're staying on that. You're not going to go off and improvise because that's time. Time is money. And it's a lot of money on that side. It's money on our side too. I don't want to waste your time either, Zach, when I was doing that stuff. But if we have time, we do it. But at the same time, for me to be loose and bring something to a film, I know I'm making the film better. And I feel like these indie films have given me an opportunity to sort of grow. I know you've done stuff with James Cullen. That actually film that you just showed was with James Cullen. Yeah. And I did a film with him where I played really dark. He gave me an opportunity to play a really dark priest who did you know that's
one of the reasons you got the job? I mean, I had met you at conventions years ago, and I've always been a fan of your work. And then I was with Jamie in Arizona working on the script for Patsy Lee, and I was talking about just having a drink, talking with him about casting. He's like, who he's cast? Dave Sheridan. I was like, okay. Why do you say that? He's like, well, I just worked with him on James Cullen Bressick's film, and I think Anna was in it as well, Anna Har. And and he's like, the guy, he plays he's such an incredible performer. He's playing this really dark role, but the second that he steps out of that part, he's just hilarious as a human. And I was like, I flashed back to Officer Doofy. I'm like, the guy is a chameleon. Well, the fact that you're a chameleon. So it literally was because Jamie suggested, I was like, oh my God, that would make so much sense. And then you were like, Anna always had the role. I wrote it for Anna to play Squirrel because I know her and I love her. She's like my little kid sister or a child if I ever had one. And then it was Anna and you were the first, and James Hong, where the cat was attached in my head even before I talked to you. And then having you and Dante Basco, I mean, the size difference worked perfectly. These two guys arguing with each other, just frickin' frack. It just worked out really, really well. Really, really well.
I think our characters reminded me of that old cartoon. It was like a Bugs Bunny cartoon where these two guys were stuck on a desert island, and then they got so hungry. One, and the tall guy became like a hot dog, and the small guy became like a hamburger, and they started chasing each other around or whatever. But it was that kind of Abbott and Costello kind of relationship. That's kind of an Abbott and Costello a little bit meets like the Tarantino hitmen from
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
That we wanted to be. We saw ourselves as the Pulp Fiction guys, but we were literally, Laurel Hardy. You know what I mean? It was Laurel Hardy.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. Hopefully, people can come out. It's the camp. Creech, give us a little. Where is this thing at? Where is this at again? Peachtree? What the hell?
It's Peachtree, Georgia. It's at the Hilton this Saturday and Sunday, Memorial Day weekend.
Cool. Is it Memorial Day already?
Yeah.
I never pay attention to this stuff. It's just like work or don't work. That's the only schedule I know.
I know. I know. If you don't have a 9-to-5 job, then the sort of like holidays of the Monday extended, you never know because we never get those days off.
No.
You're filming on those days regardless. And same, when we're not working, that is our holiday. So it's so
it's the fearful holiday.
Yes, exactly.
The one thing I remember about Peachtree, Georgia, last time I was there is that apparently you're allowed to drive around the city in electric golf carts.
Ooh.
So a lot of people don't drive there, they drive electric golf carts. It's weird. It's cool. So that's a thing.
That's the South for you.
Hey, Creech, how close is it to Stone Mountain? Is it anywhere near Stone Mountain?
I could not tell you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, useless. I'm useless in my geography for that one.
I would say I've been to Stone Mountain. Stone Mountain is one of the coolest places. Have you ever been there, Zach?
What is it?
It's a mountain that's made of. It's a stone mountain. It's one of the highest points in Georgia, but a solid piece of rock, and it's giant.
Okay.
And people, it's a long walk up, but when you get up there, it's literally because of the wind, the erosion, and there's nothing to grow on it. It's just a sheer, football field size rock, and you're way up, 360-degree view. People go up there and exercise. They'll run and they do all sorts of stuff. But it was, in the Civil War, it was a defensible place for the Confederacy. You know what I mean? Like nothing could get up there so they didn't use it. There was nothing to really defend, but they used it as a lookout type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like they're coming.
As a beachhead.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind going back up there if I had an opportunity, but I don't think we're gonna. But Preach, it ends like at 5 each day or 6 or something, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, it does not.
I know they have night stuff though.
No, exactly. No, it does not end like a normal convention. That's kind of one of the interesting things about this convention. When I talked to the promoters on the phone, they're explaining how they're starting later on Saturday, like starting at like noon or something, but then they're going to like 8 o'clock at night. And I said, what? But apparently it's all outside around the pool area, so it's better for social distancing, better for you're outside as opposed to being locked in a hall with everybody's farts and breath on you. And then it's got more of a party-like feel to it. That's what they wanted to create. So it actually goes later into the evening. But people are walking around, having a drink, getting something autographed. I mean, that's kind of interesting. I've never seen that before.
I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to be appearing as Doofy at my table full time for both days because it's only a 2-day show and I thought it was fairly short. Now, and it's hard to do because when I'm cross-eyed as Doofy all day, I can't see anybody for the rest. It gives me a little bit of a headache and I can't see. But now that I hear it's going to be by a pool, I might be Doofy in like swim trunks, like being a little bit of a Doofy lifeguard on people. That could be kind of funny. And
dude, nobody rocks a banana hammock better than you do.
Really,
just rock that bungee smuggle.
Do it quite a bit, so I don't know how that.
A really good thong. They came out with the one-sided thong now, so it just goes up a butt cheek, comes around the other side, and cups the man junk. And I think Doofy would have moved forward in fashion.
That's a lot of manscaping. That's a lot of shaving. So you're saying, is it like a wire? Is there a wire to it?
No, it's just something that will inevitably fall off and reveal your shame. But
wardrobe, you're literally already putting a dysfunctional wardrobe for the wardrobe malfunction. It's actually that is exactly the function of the wardrobe. It did not malfunction. That is the function.
Yeah, I'll send you a link, so you can get your.
Creech, can you do us a favor? Because I can't travel with little stones or weights. If it's outside, I guarantee there's going to be some wind blowing around. You're local. Get out in your backyard, grab Zach and I, like 10 little stones each. And then, so we have little paperweights for our photos and stuff. Just do us a favor, buddy. Come on. That's for you.
Okay.
Zach,
I think I can do that.
Would you like some little stones, Zach? Some little local stones?
I appreciate the thought. I'm sure we can handle it. It's a hotel, so they might have something there. But no, make Creech run around and do your little man chores. That's awesome.
Are you busy? Creech with picking up your daughter? You're working your regular job, packing. I'm sure you could find time, right?
Maybe I might be able to find a little time. Pick up some rocks.
All right.
Well, this has been fun. We'll have to take photos together, Dave, and send those out to anybody who's interested. Post that stuff.
Yes, exactly. And then also, I'm going to text you, or I want you to text me. I need to change my flight info for Sunday, and I'm going into LAX. So
I'll email you.
maybe I could just book that.
Yeah, I'll email you my flight itinerary so you can have it. But we can talk about that when we're off the podcast because I'm sure nobody's like, gee, I wonder what they're scheduling.
They want to make sure they get to the airport so they can get some free autographs.
Boy, howdy. Dave Sheridan knows how to deliver that top-notch entertainment value. And next, folks, we're going to do our taxes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Let's get the tax in there. And I think I do have a credit card due today.
All right. We're going to go now.
We're going to go.
This has been a pleasure. Hopefully, if anybody
thank you so much.
Please jump on. I'm happy to come back and answer anything. And I will definitely be showing stuff of Patsy Lee when I can. Very excited and proud of it.
All right, thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
I'm too. I can't wait to see it. And we're going to be back on when that is released. We'll have you back on.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
We can talk about it. All right, great. All right, later, guys. Bye.
See you guys.